You consume goods and services, money comes as a part of that. We just want to make sure we are there with you, but invisible. We're just there for you when you need us and in your day-to-day life.
Motorcycles, below sort of aeroplanes and cruise ships, are the highest polluting vehicles per capita. Motorcycles are really overlooked, that they are incredibly harmful. And we've got a solution to provide sustainable, affordable, high-tech delivery vehicles.
This is Tech Waves. I'm learning from Dubai World Trade Center, bringing you your ultimate tech playlist powered by GITEX from our WeWork studio. Banking is a pillar of the worldwide economy. Today, technology is shaking this pillar, the fast-growing industry, fintech. As per the latest data from DIFC, the number of fintech companies has doubled in the last year. The digital transformation excellence is driven by startups and game changers who have definitely seen the need for these disruptions. Today, we have a true disruptor with us in the studio, Yap. And Yap is not a bank, but a clever app that gives you full control of your finances. We have the chance to welcome the CEO of Yap UAE, Masood Khan.
Hi, everyone. I'm here with Masood. Masood, welcome on board on Tech Waves.
Thank you.
Masood was appointed at the beginning of this year as the CEO of Yap UAE. Masood also has 20 plus years of banking experience with one of the UAE leading banks in senior roles that cover strategic initiatives and digital transformation. So let's kick off the conversation with Masood then. Masood, how about you give us a little bit of background of yourself to begin with?
First of all, thank you very much for that introduction and for having me over here. Yes, I've been 20 years into banking, so it is safe to say that finances drives the most inner passion out of me in my career. Clearly, we've seen digital in the way it is today is transformed a lot in the last 20 years. Of course, it's been a part of most boardrooms since ever, but I think the last 4 years has seen a significant shift in the reality of where digital is. Mm-hmm. And of course, with COVID coming in, we all see it's on the digital explosion. So yeah, very exciting times. It was a natural progression for me to move into Yap as a fintech. And we are very proud of what we have done so far and really looking forward to the launch.
Good. So what was the inspiration behind the startup? What inspired you to get into that?
I mean, we had the privilege and the luxury to look at what's happening around the world. If you look at what's happening in the UK and the US and the Europe, the markets, mm-hmm. and there's so much of activity there and the digital banking apps and the way they're performing, clearly we saw that need. And obviously the inspiration is the customer. I mean, there's always so much that the customer wants. You want to be simple, you want to be less complex, you want to make sure you're not using too many banking jargons. So how to simplify day-to-day money management was the key for us. And that's what inspired us to say, okay, there are successful players out there. Why not start something in the Middle East?
That is fantastic, Masood. Like really, really good insight. So tell us the story about Yap. Well, what is behind it? Was there a customer that you needed to tap into? And can you give us a little bit more detailed insight about the creation of Yap and why this happened?
Sure. So Yap was founded around 2.5 years back, but I think the whole world is seeing a fintech explosion. I mean, it's not only the Googles and the Apples or the Facebooks of the world, but as I said earlier, what's happening in the UK and Europe and the American markets, Brazil, for example, mm-hmm. There's so much happening in South America. We had the luxury of seeing what's happening there. And clearly from a Yap standpoint, we wanted something which we can bring in simply for the customers. Simple day-to-day money management needs was the key ask from the customers. So Yap is a digital banking app. You can get an IBAN in seconds, hassle-free account opening, simple to use, no minimum balance, no salary requirements. And then we have the bolt-on products which keeps into mind financial inclusion, such as YAP Household and YAP Young, which keeps in mind the different segments of the market. So that's what inspired us. There are unmet needs of the customers. Banking is boring. It can get money is not money is stressful. You want to get over it. You're a consumer, so you consume goods and services. Money comes as a part of that. We just want to make sure we are there with you, but invisible. We're just there for you when you need us, and in your day-to-day life. For example, we're introducing things like split bills, automated bill payments. These are important parts of your day-to-day life. Like it's not only about walking into a branch, or it's like calling your bank. It's more about how you engage with money, and that's where YAP clearly feels there's a need in the market, especially in the UAE and Middle East, Africa, and parts of Asia, where we would like to launch our services.
Cool. So you're saying that if that was your background, that was your inspiration, then what is the vision of YAP then? Where do you see yourselves? Who are you taking on? Who are you taking on?
Yeah, we just started in the UAE, as you know, and obviously we've tested with a few hundreds of customers, and I can tell you the response has been overwhelming, and clearly it gives us a morale boosting confidence in terms of being the leading digital banking app in the Middle East, Africa, and Southern Asia. That's
Excellent.
Our grand vision.
Wow. And so what are your plans for the next upcoming years then? What are your business plans?
Yeah, so our focus is in UAE, of course. That's a great starting point. We are happy and we are blessed to be starting in the UAE and very proud of it. Our plans, as I said earlier, hundreds of customers have helped us achieve where we are today. We've opened up the queue. There are thousands of customers now waiting to get onboarded. We've just stepped up the pedal now. We're getting more and more customers on. And once we get through with the first phase, then we look at other markets. Obviously, there are a lot of countries that we're working in parallel across all the three regions, the Middle East, the Africa, and the Southern Asia. And it's amazing how banks have received us in terms of with open arms, in terms of tying up with them and giving them the best of product and technology. So YAP, first of all, is a fintech. We're not a bank. A lot of people confuse this. Our model is very simple. We are a fintech. We collaborate with banks worldwide, as in the regions that we just discussed earlier. And for us, that is the key. That's how fast we will scale. And in terms of our product range, there is, for example, in Africa, we are looking something for the farmers. In Pakistan, we are looking at some key products, which is very relevant to the population there. In Saudi Arabia, we are looking at some of the key products. So horses for courses. The good thing is we got very innovative technology, scalable platform that can cut across and help us scale and be in as many markets as possible.
Interesting. So fintech now, it's a super hot topic, right?
Yeah.
Everything is fintech. Everybody's fintech. Dubai, it's also known to be one of the top fintech places in the region. What is your take on fintech, just in general?
So fintech is the buzzword all around. I think when going back a few years, fintech was always positioned as a threat to banks, and I was always of a personal view that it's not a threat. It's an add-on to what banks would want, and banks run on legacy of technology, and fintechs are there to solve problems. So, and with their focused, laser-sharp precision on meeting customer needs with the innovation in technology, it just makes it so simple for banks to adopt. So fintech is going through its own rage. I think UAE is on the cusp of fintech explosion in a nice way. And if you look at the entire framework, the ecosystem that's come around, especially in UAE, if you have to go, the regulators, the regulatory bodies, the financial free zones, the government pitching in with Mohammed bin Rashid Innovation Fund, with the blockchain strategy, with the artificial intelligence strategy. There is just so much happening with the ecosystem around. UAE is the best place to get started. So, as I said earlier, we're very proud of getting this started in the UAE. Obviously, it's got its challenges. There is no free ride, but I think with everyone stepping up in the game, it's just the perfect launch platform. So yes, fintechs are going through their own maturity curves, but I think almost every day we hear a new fintech coming in. So full marks to the leadership of this country to bring it where it is today.
So good.
Yeah.
So you're basically telling to all the fintechs out there, come to UA then, right?
Absolutely, get started here, but
Get
do
started.
expand, do expand.
Yeah, it's a good one. It's a good start, no?
Absolutely.
So just to finalize at the end, okay? So you are a fintech startup, right? So what would be your advice to the fintech startups out there? I mean, you have massive experience. You've been in a corporate world before. Now you're an entrepreneur. You're a startup. What is your advice to the guys out there to get them ready?
I think my first and foremost advice would be that solve real problems for real customers. There's so much of noise out there. There is so much of discussions, but I think you need to nail what problem are you solving, because once you do that, you probably are 50% there. So I think that's the key to any startup or any idea that's building up into getting your initial work. Second part is, I think if you're in the UAE, you probably are 50% there, because the whole ecosystem is now building towards getting all the fintechs going, right from the regulators, as I mentioned earlier, to the leadership of this country. I think they're all building towards, they all recognize the importance of fintechs in the whole financial space. So it's an excellent place to be. I think the third and the most important thing is a lot of fintechs, I won't say make the mistakes, but have the challenge of being up there, get the investment, and they tackle more segmentation in terms of customer acquisition. But I think they very soon have to start thinking about customer retention, which means customer service. I think that's the key. You can launch a great fintech with a great set of products and services and all the lovely technology behind it. But if you don't have good customer service strategy, then you probably will struggle in the long run. So a pitch deck is good for your first set of investment, but if you want sustainable investment, then start thinking about customer service very early in the game.
So Masood, can we start using Yap right now? Is it available? Is it out there? What's happening? Tell me.
It is absolutely out there. You can start using it. A big thanks to all the hundreds of customers who helped us perfect it where we are today, but absolutely you can get on. But mind you, just a caution, there's a long waiting queue there. So yeah.
So I need to take a token, huh?
It's a happy wait. It's worth the wait, I would say.
Okay.
There are on a daily basis, hundreds of customers. We are moving ahead of the queue.
That's amazing.
We are onboarding hundreds of customers on a daily basis. So no, you'll get there soon. But yeah, if my strongest humble opinion would be to get out there and get yourself in the queue so that you can experience Yap as soon as possible.
That's it. I'm going to press that button and take a token and wait for my turn.
I wish you good luck.
Thank you so much, Masood. I hope we're going to see you soon, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
You're coming to GITEX this year. GITEX
absolutely.
Future Stars,
Looking
FinTech Surge.
Yeah.
We're going to see you there. Thank you for coming on the show, and we will keep in touch, and all the best with your FinTech startups, and I'm sure you're going to smash it. I'm sure you're going to do well.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Take care.
Thank you.
We'll see you. Bye-bye.
From electric to autonomous to shared transportation, we have come far in our journey of new mobility. As per a McKinsey report, autonomous vehicles will cover 66% of the total passenger distance by 2040. It all looked good for this trending technology sector. And today we are proud to share the mic with one such company. This company has moved away from the norm to launch the UAE's first electric bike. I'm very happy to welcome One Moto. Hi, today I am with Adam from One Moto, a very promising startup. Hi Adam, how are you?
Really well, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. You are focusing on the electric scooters, and we can see that more and more electric scooters are now everywhere in every worldwide cities. After Amazon delivery, Uber Eats, Zomato, and during the pandemic we saw them everywhere. So I'm sure that your company will have a huge business opportunity. So just tell us a little bit more about that.
Yes, so One Moto was born out of a need, and it came from looking at the last mile delivery motorcycles. So a lot of them are petrol, all of them over here are petrol, and there's 15,000 of them. So when we started to do the research, we thought, I wonder if there's the electric delivery motorcycle. And then that research sort of evolved into what ended up being a white paper that we published. And it's now become 90% of our business is focused on the last mile vehicles. So we do have the motorbikes, but also the delivery vans. So that's really where a lot of our focus is in the UAE, being a British but UAE startup. and we're expanding in India, Australia, various parts of Europe and Africa as well. So it's been an accelerated journey because of the pandemic. And, you know, more of us are ordering our food, our groceries, our pharmacies, our products, more and more and more. And it's an incredibly vibrant industry. But then if you start taking the statistics on what harm it has to the environment, motorcycles, you might not know this, motorcycles below sort of aeroplanes and cruise ships are the highest polluting vehicles per capita. They're 16 times more harmful to the environment than an SUV or a bus in their first year of life as a motorbiker, or 50 times in their second year and beyond. So motorcycles are really overlooked, that they are incredibly harmful. And we've got a solution to provide sustainable, affordable, high-tech delivery vehicles for the last mile sector, and we're focused on the UAE in this region.
So why Dubai for you? Because you just mentioned, yeah, you are a British UAE startup. So why? Because there is a huge potential here in Dubai. It was.
Yeah, there's. It's a lovely question. When it was 2016, and I came out of a car garage and I saw these beaten up, battered, this spectrum of petrol delivery bikes, and that's really where the ignition or that catalyst of thought became. And Dubai's been home now for about 13 years, and it's not going to stop anytime soon. And Dubai, not only is it progressive, incredibly positive, and you know, Dubai will never be finished because it's constantly evolving. And the other beauty is the way it's built. You've got the arterial road, but there's so many pockets, and within 20-25 minutes you're pretty much anywhere to see anyone. And focusing on an industry of 15,000 delivery bikes is, say, bite size. It's still challenging because you need that education process, and then the environment needs to become a concern, or the green agendas of the companies operating needs to be a concern. It is voiced by the government, but then there's that sort of transition time before it's acted upon. So Dubai, just for the sheer progressive attitude, we wanted to be based here, grow from this region, and then beyond that, we've just been, in fact, because of GFS, and we won a few awards last year, which was really lovely. And from that, the PR and the press and the media and so on have just encouraged inbound sort of requests and conversations to start for us to now expand from this region globally.
Amazing. Okay. So let's come back to GITEX Future Star last year. So you were one of the winner of the Supernova Challenge. Okay, so just to remind to everybody, we had I think we had around 300 startups participating to the Supernova Challenge, and only 4 startups won a prize, and you were one of them.
Yeah, it was absolutely amazing. So last year was our year of education, sort of entering the market, really presenting ourselves and say education, but not in a patronising way, just to explain about the harm and the benefits and so on, and just making that noise around One Moto. And then participating at GFS and the Supernova Challenge was incredible. Now I get really nervous on stage, which is unbelievable, because you do this loads, right? There's loads of pitches that happen, and but when it means so much, you get, I don't know about anyone else, but I get tremendously nervous. And we exhibited, so we launched our rider collection, which is a collection of e-bikes at GITEX. And then we went through the Future Stars, you know, the presentations and the pitches, and it was just amazing. It was lovely because what I presented on stage, we had somewhere to appoint, you know, some of the guests and the audience. So they got to experience the bikes. You can talk about EVs, talk about any vehicle or any product or service, but unless a customer really experiences it, you don't feel it. And that was the beauty about GFS last year, is we had that experiential environment, plus what was being said was backed up. So and we've come such a long way from being a, you know, proof of concept to then having all of the certifications and, you know, winning 5 awards last year, being a part of Future Stars, GFS, and then the media attention that went along with it. It's been an incredible journey.
Can you tell us a little bit more, Adam, about what latest news what's going on for your startup today? Because you are doing a lot of headlines in the media today. So just tell us a little bit more about all the latest big achievements and what's coming for One Moto.
Yeah, well, with the headlines, you need to be backing it up, and because you can make a lot of noise, but it needs to be sort of warranted and qualified, right? So what we've announced over the past few months is our launch into India. So we've signed a partnership and we're launching in 13 territories. Now it's a 37 million motorcycle market, which is absolutely phenomenal. So that's an incredible journey we're going on. Then we've launched in Australia. We're speaking to various different partners, about 54 countries in Africa, so all African countries. Egypt, we've got Saudi conversations happening, and probably the most exciting, or one of the most exciting, I should say, is that we're in conversations about building the UAE's first electric vehicle manufacturing assembly plant right here in the UAE.
In the UAE.
So that is the most exciting, because we can bring, the way that we operate is it's collaborative, which I think is so crucial in business, but it's not that predatory dominant presence wherever any territory we launch in, but it's about how can we work and how can we collaborate with others. So there are companies that have been producing X components for X amount of time, so we're about working with them. And we're taking the sustainability element, so it's not just electric vehicles, but it's the entire process, sort of aligned with the SDGs, or Sustainable Development Goals of the UN, of how can we produce our vehicles and then sort of export from the UAE, being as sustainable as possible. So each territory we operate, we're looking at assembly manufacturing plants, so we've got India in here, but then it's using sustainable products. And one of those is 3D printed recycled materials like plastics.
Okay, of course.
I had a conversation with someone at the weekend about using coconut fiber compressed to produce the fairings of these vehicles. So that's really, really exciting.
Thank you so much, Adam.
Thank you.
And I wish you all the best. Okay, wish you all the best to succeed in India. It's a huge market, I'm sure. I've lived there during 3 years and a half, so I know very well India, and I know that yes, there is a huge market and demand for these kind of things. And finger crossed for everything in the UAE. And let's see you at GITEX Future Stars this year.
Absolutely, you will.
Okay, thank you, Adam. GITEX, AI Everything, GITEX Future Star, Future Blockchain Summit, FinTech Surge, and Marketing Mania, the biggest tech show of the year from the 17th to 21st of October at Dubai World Trade Center.
Year 2021 is a big celebration for UAE, celebrating 50 years of their existence, plus hosting two of the most powerful shows in the world, GITEX and Expo 2020 Dubai.